It was never meant to be a cultural phenomenon. As popular as any other Nintendo game, maybe. But not this.
Whose ear is this?
Eats a back here, this is big. He recovers.
Oh, the tournament winner! Hungry Bucks presses forward on the gray stick, and that's the end of EVO 2016. Hungry Bucks with a miraculous win.
So how does a game that came out 2 decades and 3 consoles ago still funnel in crowds like this? And why are fans still so passionate about it?
When someone's playing hot, everybody in the audience just feels it.
Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube was never intended to be anything more than a party game.
Of 20 unexpected characters in one big brawl. Now that's a fight. Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Nintendo set out to make a game with easy controls that would allow anyone to pick up a controller and play. However, the attentive and devoted players noticed there was something special about Melee.
You know, just the way that it's really put together is, it's not like you have a specific button combo to do one move. I mean, you have kind of the basic groundwork, and you can use, you know, the tools that it gives you to string together moves. I mean, the whole thing is that you can find ways within the mechanics of the game to overcome pretty much any obstacle.
These idiosyncrasies of the game allowed for practicing players to refine their skills, which resulted in a broad spectrum of skill level amongst the community.
There's so many basic levels of complexity movement to the game. You know, the first almost year and a half, 2 years, you're doing nothing but just trying to establish those basic feelings and muscle memory.
For early players of Melee, the competitive seed had been planted.
Oh God, it's gonna sound disgusting when you listen to it later. Loud sounds of me swallowing. My name is Ben Tobias. I am the founder of Atlantic Extravaganza. One, I liked Melee. You know, I like playing Melee, I like playing it with my friends. But two, there's more of a scene for it than really any other game where people would come out to people's houses to play it. It wasn't like an online game. So AEX started in 2013. I started in late 2013 in November. At that point, I didn't even say I'm going to run a tournament. You know, I'm just going to get a few friends together. I actually had posted it on the Smash boards, just on a whim. You know, a few days before the tournament, posted it on there and said, hey, I live in the middle of nowhere, and some guys are going to come over to my house in the boonies in my dad's garage, and we're going to play some Melee. First turnout was probably maybe 15 people total. That included my friends and the guys from Philly. We didn't really know anything about anything when it comes to actual tournaments. We had like an uneven number of players, so we completely botched the buy. But no one really cared because, again, it was just fun. It really went from like a small thing to something that grew pretty much faster than any of us were prepared for. It was cool for a while, you know, obviously you want all of your friends to be in something successful. I realized that it was a little bigger than expected pretty early on. I mean, we were getting, it went from something that was happening in my garage to the third tournament. We had people from Maryland and Virginia show up. But we had people from Canada come in. We had some Florida players before. It turned out to be a, you know, all over the East Coast thing. The selling point that we did for the first few tournaments was, well, if you show up here, we'll feed you for free. So we just ordered pizza in bulk and handed out pizza. And the gymnasium was nice because it had a full built-in kitchen and a side room and all that. So
even some more competitive, now top echelon players, you go to a tournament and they're just another guy there. You meet one guy who knows 3 other guys who play Melee, you meet one person who lives right around you, and you can just pick up and play because you all know the game.
So the first AEX happened in 2013, in November. Then I had planned AEX 2 for April of 2014. So the day before AEX 2 happened in 2014, my mom was diagnosed with leukemia. And it wasn't good. It wasn't the type of leukemia that they had a high survival rate for. It was the day before. And I was kind of like, okay, well, I'm not gonna do AEX anymore. And it had just started, My mom was in the hospital pretty much all the time for 2 straight years. Pretty much the whole time battling her cancer. It was right after she passed away, I said, I think we had a tournament planned, I think it was 8 or 9, and I basically said, I gotta take some time off. I did end up going to that tournament, but I had told everyone, I'm only here to chill, I'm not helping out with anything, I'm not doing anything, I'm just here to play Smash and chill with people. That thing really drove me to do good. And so then after she passed away, I had realized, oh, well, this is already built up and it's something really good that I created out of nothing. It became, from that point on, an outlet, and I think that's why I ended up putting so much work into it. Once the tournament was ending, we would have a lot of people who would just show up to the tournament from all over the place. They'd stay there till late at night, and they'd play friendly matches after the tournament ended. And a lot of people would help us break down the tournament. Put all the chairs and tables away. And so it kind of turned into, after we broke down, all the stuff at the tournament, we would have a dodgeball match because we found this trash bin full of dodgeballs in the back room of the church. Screw it! Why the hell not? Let's play some dodgeball. It kind of became like a little bit of a cult following in the later tournaments where people would want to stay after to play dodgeball because, we'd do like Philly versus Baltimore dodgeball. It's one of those things where it's cool because you can sit down and play a video game with a person and, you're still meeting them and, you're still having a good time with them. But to do like a physical activity with people who, you've only met through a single common interest and now you're playing dodgeball together, and it was fun.
Oh yeah, even prior to those big tournaments, locals were always a huge part of the community. You show up to a local, one of the biggest locals around here, AEX, was I think 256 entrants, and it was like the first tournament I had ever gone to. Community was built on that grassroots feel, how you could go to any state and really find a tournament near you. Everyone's teaching, everyone's showing you, hey man, like this was really great, that out-of-shield option was like perfect for that situation.
Now you have all these people of all different, ethnicities and ages coming together and they're all sharing a mutual interest. There's this one Facebook post that I saw that was made a few years ago by one of the dudes who came. It was February 2014, and said AEX was the unifier of the Middle East Coast. It got people out of their states, and it really brought them together. It was a good tournament. It was a cheap tournament. It was a large tournament, and they did their brackets right, and they treated people right, and they did everything right. It really brought pretty much from New York to Virginia together, into one consistent tournament. It made me feel good, it really did. It made me feel like, the actions that I did and the way that I ran the tournament ended up being good. And that people generally liked it and had a good time and considered it a unifier.
Super Smash